Welcome back. We're here with 1455 and the last one, little where she's not even on here. Little oh she is. No, where is she? Here she is. Little Ginevra was born, so she is now one of our children. Thomas has taken responsibility for her. And also we had Papa and Frost had their first baby, Catalina, and then also if I can find Felice and Emile had their first child. She did not survive. They're all pregnant again. And also, Thomas met Vlad in the last one. So that's really interesting to him. He has met Vlad. I don't think I ever, yeah, I did. I put that in there. Okay, so yeah, he's met Vlad and he wants to become a vampire. So that's where we're going to pick up. Although this year is the War of Roses in St. Albans. So during the 15th century, the struggle for power between the rival houses of Lancaster and York, the First Battle of St. Albans, fought on the 22nd of May in 1455, marked the beginning of the War of Roses. So honestly, it's 1 year. Everyone returns alive. So I'm only going to roll for Thomas because literally nothing else is going to affect us, and I'm not worried about it. So we're going to roll for Thomas. He rolled a 15. He's not going to war. Okay. Because I don't feel like moving them all out and then moving them all back in like immediately alive. That's not, anyway. I did move around. You'll see on some of these that I've moved around some of the war sections just because I didn't want them. Some of them were happening like one day after another, and I don't want to do that. So we're going to, make sure it's like once a year or something. So that's not going to be historically accurate. Anyway, let's roll for everyone else. We're going to roll for Catalina Payne, who was born in the last one. Is she going to get an 18 or a 20? Nope. Then we have Ginevra, who was just born. No 4, 8, or 12. Ginevra, you can do this. Okay, she did it. I saw the 8 at the end and I was like, no! Martine is finally aging up and she needs to roll not a 7, which she did. And will she be getting married and having children? She will, and she will have 4 children. So that's really exciting for Martine Landgrab. Will be having 4 children. And then Cassian the second, which I didn't fix here. Will he become a young adult? What'll even happen if he doesn't with this whole situation that's going on? No, 2, 6, 11, 13, 14. He survived. And then Odelgard is becoming an adult. Oh my gosh, she has to get at least a 9. She doesn't. Oh my gosh, you guys, is Odelgard going to die in this part? We are going to beg for her. We're going to plead for her. But this whole vampire storyline can't affect her because it was only going to. Vlad and Thomas are the only ones who have met. I don't know. Thomas wouldn't be strong enough to make Odelgard into a vampire if he was just turned himself. Like by the time he's actually a vampire, it's not going to be. Ooh, I don't know. I got to think about it. I'm going to have a think about it. Should we turn Odelgard into a vampire? No. Yes. No. I wasn't going to. I'll think about it. I don't know. Uh, let's hop into the game. All right, so here's how we're going to play it. We are going to give a few chances to save her, but we're not going to, just outright ignore the rules of the game. So what's going to happen here is Odelgard is going to say to Thomas, like, oh, I haven't been feeling well lately. So she's going to know that something's up with her. And she says, the doctor says, like, it's not good. They don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. It's probably just, I don't know, what could it be, like tuberculosis? I don't know, like something that they're able to identify as fatal, but not like anything they can do anything about. So basically, she's going to tell Thomas, like, we need to speed up our timeline. I'm not doing well, and if we want to really live forever together, then we need to do something quick. So Thomas is like, okay, you're right. I'm going to go and see Vlad immediately, and I'm going to find out what we can do if he can really turn me into a vampire or not. And we'd ask him to turn Odelgard, except he doesn't even know her. Like Thomas has been doing all this stuff, so he's willing to take a chance on Thomas, but not on someone he doesn't know. So anyway, we're going to go here, and he's basically going to come in and talk to Vlad, and he's going to be like, look, Vlad, have you found anything? And Vlad's like, well, there is a possibility that if you drink my blood that you'll become a vampire and all this stuff. And so Thomas is like, okay, let's do it. And Vlad is like, are you sure you want to do it? Because it's, untested. And Thomas is like, I don't have a choice. Like, the woman I love is dying. I need this. And he's like, okay. So Thomas is taking a big chance here. And, he passes out and he just doesn't even, like, he wakes up again. He doesn't feel great. He doesn't know what's going on. And Vlad's like, I don't know. I was born a vampire. So Thomas is going to have to see how that goes. So he comes home and he is going to tell Odelgard all about it, about how he convinced Vlad to turn him into a vampire, even though they're not really sure exactly what it's going to do. Like, is he really going to become a vampire? How's it going to work? So they're kind of unsure as to what exactly is going on. This is uncharted territory. Obviously, we as Simmers know what's going on, but like in this save, this has not happened before. So Thomas is feeling really ill, and he's just going to rest a lot as he is undergoing this transformation. And so Odelgard is going to come down and say to Elrisaria, like, hey, you can't host any parties right now. Like, Thomas isn't feeling well, blah, blah, blah. We think we're coming down with something. It must be contagious. And Elrisaria is like, oh, okay. Like, obviously she doesn't want to, cause any problems for Thomas. So she's going to agree not to have any parties while he is not feeling well. And that is just another way for them to keep people out of the house while he's potentially becoming a vampire, right? We don't want people to just walk in the house and find that. So he's just going to rest a bit. He is in the first stages of that. Also, Martine now has a lot more freedom now that Cassian the Elder is dead. So she is hanging out with her cousins here. So that's really nice that she actually gets to go out and spend time with the other kids again. So that is really nice. And she's aging up this year. So she'll be joining the ladies club, and she's, her life is getting back on track, which is really great. So she is going to be chatting with her cousins and stuff. The boys themselves are BFFs now. They are super close and all that stuff. And we again have Thomas, who had completed his homework. Then he is going to practice his archery. Meanwhile, Dante is more interested in the violin. So there's just, the kids doing their separate things. And so Odelgard is going to be around here, and she kind of runs into little Thomas, and he has a whim to become her enemy. So I was like, okay. So they are going to argue with each other and all of that stuff and kind of, go back and forth. And he's going to yell at her. Look at his little face. Okay, so they are not doing well with their relationship. Odelgard also, doesn't feel good. So she's doing her best here to keep the house, running as she can while Thomas is kind of out of commission and just in here. So, everyone is doing their thing, and we are going to just let her hang out. She's like this fear of like inferiority or something, so she's gonna be making a painting and showing it off. And meanwhile, Elrisaria is kind of like, okay, what is going on? Like, what is happening here? Because, Thomas is still her husband. She should be allowed to, visit him on his sick bed and stuff. So she's going to come in here and she's going to talk to Thomas and be like, Thomas, like, are you okay? What's going on? And so she comes in here to talk to him. And he's immediately like, what are you doing in here? You have to get out of here. Because she doesn't know that he's changing into a vampire. And he doesn't know what it's going to do to him. And he doesn't know, what's going to happen or anything. And so he doesn't want to put her in danger or anything like that. She's still someone he cares about. So they're just going to talk, and she's going to be like, wow, okay, and he's like, no, I don't mean to be rude. I just really am not well, and I don't want you to get sick and all this stuff. And so they're just having a small conversation. Now Rosaria is like, look, I want you to know that you can count on me as your wife. Like, yeah, I'm not Odelgard, but I'm still part of this family, and I can help you. I can help take care of you. And he's like, obviously a little softened by that, but he's just like, I really appreciate it, but I don't need any help. So she leaves the room. She's a little mad because she feels like she's being pushed out, and she doesn't know all the secrets that these two have together. So there's that. And then Thomas is going to become a vampire shortly. Okay, we're inviting the kids over again. That's really sweet that Martine is getting closer with her cousins. I really do love that. I like when the kids are close and stuff. Like, I loved how Thomas and Genevieve were so close, and honestly, it feels like it's been so long since Genevieve died, but they were so close. And it's really sad that she died, so I was really disappointed by that. But anyway, so we're going to have the kids just hanging out. Dante has some whims to talk about art. I feel like Dante is probably the more social one out of the two of them. Like, I feel like Thomas is social. Thomas is like good at everything, but not like, you know, especially good at certain things. So Dante, though, I feel like is going to be, a very charismatic young man when he grows up. He's probably going to be a bit of a playboy or something. But anyway, so the kids are hanging out with each other. And we have El Rosaria just hanging out with her daughter and trying to teach her stuff. We also have the baby in here as well. Oh, look at them snuggling. Okay, so Thomas is becoming a vampire very shortly. So he's going to do that like in a minute. Here we go. Okay. So he's becoming a vampire. Of course, he has like an awful, awful outfit on. So we're going to change his outfit into something more. I'm just going to use the same clothes he has, but in black. I'm going to let him keep in his vampire form his like, really blue eyes, because his eyes are blue. So I think that like the fact that they would glow as a vampire could definitely work for us. I'm going to change this. I do really like the like little cracks in their faces. I like that skin detail. So we're going to include that. And I'm an idiot, so I didn't realize that we were his dark form and his regular form are linked right now. So we are going to have to come back into Create a Sim after this to fix his normal clothes back to what they're supposed to be. So we'll come back to that in a second. But for right now, Thomas, like finally, he's like, he's become a vampire. He feels it in his bones, and he feels like he can do this. And so he's really excited about the whole thing. And so he is going to, he's a little thirsty, right off the bat. So he is going to drink from Odelgard. They're going to try that out. Also, the way to turn a vampire is only the level 2 vampire, and we're already more than halfway through level 1. So I think that if Thomas tries really hard, here's how we're going to play this. Thomas is going to try really hard to learn how to turn people into vampires. He's going to become strong enough in order to do that. If he can do that, we will re-roll for Odelgard's adult roll. And if she rolls to succeed, then we will turn her into a vampire as a way of saving her life. If she rolls to fail, then she has to die, and we'll plead with the Grim Reaper and see what we can do. But those are the chances. We're giving her an extra reroll and a plead with the Grim Reaper, and that is the only chances she's getting. And I mean, as much as I want to keep her around, I don't want to just go outside of the rules of the game just because I feel like it. So we're going to work within the confines of the game and cross our fingers and say that we can save her. So Thomas is going to be like, don't worry, my love. I'm going to make sure that I am strong enough to save you, and I am going to spend every waking moment trying to figure that out so that you will survive this. So that is what is going on with him, is he is going to deep dive into vampire things, vampire lore, etc., etc. So he is going to work really hard on that and learn really quickly so that he can be successful there. So he's going to come out here and he's reading a book with his son, and his son's like, oh, Dad, are you feeling better? And he's like, you know what, son, I am. I'm feeling a lot better. So he just came out, and El Rosario is going to come out and talk to Thomas and ask, are you feeling better? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. Odelgard still isn't feeling very well, though. And El Rosario is kind of like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, even though she's not really. But, she's sorry because she knows that Thomas loves Odelgard. So anyway, Thomas is just really focusing on studying his vampire lore. Vlad has given him some books and stuff and has helped him, told him about the process he went through in order to learn that and everything. So we are going to get him cast hallucination because he's already thirsty again. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to, since we already drank from Odelgard, we're going to drink from El Rosaria and then kind of erase her memory of the event. He does eventually want to tell her that he's a vampire, but, that's not right now. And he eventually wants to turn all of his family members because he doesn't want to lose anyone. So anyway, we did just graduate, and now we have the ability to turn someone into a vampire. So he's going to talk to Odelgard and see if we can't turn her into a vampire. So he's like, look, I don't know how well this is going to work. It worked on me, but I was healthy. And so all of that, and he is going to focus on that. So they are going to re-roll for Odelgard. We're going to re-roll for her and see if we can't save her from this whatever illness. So I'm just waiting for that recently bitten thing to go away. I don't know if that affects anything. I also don't remember if I still have that mod that vampires can kill Sims. So oops. But anyway, so we are going to just keep going with these two. Okay, so then we're going to re-roll for Odelgard. I know, it's scary. I'm scared. I love Odelgard. I want her to survive. I really want her to survive. And, you know, she's perfect. And she has been such an icon in this household. And, you know, she wants to live forever with Thomas. They want to live forever together and outlive El Rosaria and all that other stuff and whatever. Although I think Thomas would probably offer to turn El Rosaria and his children because he wants to take care of his family. So let's re-roll. And she rolled a 2. A 2 is not enough for an adult roll. You had to roll a 9 or higher. So Odelgard is not able to be turned into a vampire. Thomas is going to make an effort to change her into a vampire. You know, we're going to pretend that that's what he's doing here, is he's trying to change her. And unfortunately, due to the fact that she was sick and everything, it just, her body wasn't strong enough to handle the transformation. So she is unable to withstand it, and we are going to have to plead with the Grim Reaper. It's also Talk Like a Pirate Day, so I'm just having El Rosaria talk like a pirate with the kids. Meanwhile, Odelgard is, you know, thinking that she was going to, you know, survive this, but apparently not. We're going to have to plead. We're going to do our best. So we will see. Odelgard is getting 2 extra chances that most Sims don't get, so let's do this after we do the Talk Like a Pirate Day stuff with the kids, because I don't know, I just figured it would take a while to see if it's working or not, because like it took Thomas, you know, several days to become a vampire. So anyway, so we're going to give her a kiss, and she, you know, she basically is not doing well. We're going to give Thomas that and get rid of the stuff in her inventory and everything. And so she is going to pass away from overexertion. Her body just wasn't strong enough to handle the change, and Thomas is, of course, horrified. He basically feels like he couldn't save her, maybe even feels like he killed her by trying to change her. But I mean, she was going to die anyway. So anyway, we're just waiting for the Grim Reaper to come over here so we can plead with him, even though he's just standing there. Tiffany, poor Tiffany, her like hears Thomas's like cries and comes into the room because she's only in the room next door. So he is going to so Tiffany basically comes in and finds her mother's body, which is really traumatizing. And so they are just, you know, all of this stuff. So I'm just going to pause for a second just so the game can catch up with itself and we can see if, you know, see if we can plead with the Grim Reaper. I did hear that, like, you know, when you get these extra chances, like how it says, like, seduce or, you know, demand or any of that stuff, that it's a better chance than just pleading. So we're going to do that. And the Grim Reaper just laughs at us. And even though Thomas is like, please, like, I love her, she's the love of my life. And the Grim Reaper is like, I don't care, you know, F you and your family for escaping death so many times. And so the whole family starts to hear the commotion. I mean, the house is pretty big, so it's not a surprise that they wouldn't notice at first. And so Thomas is just beside himself crying, and they come in, and Odelgard has passed away. And so we're going to put her urn up there. And it's also the baby's birthday. So it is little Ginevra's birthday. So we're going to age her up into a toddler. But, you know, obviously we're not going to have this big birthday party after Odelgard just died. Obviously, El Rosaria is like guiltily a little happy that Odelgard passed away because now she's not in her house with her husband anymore. But, you know, she can appreciate that Thomas is devastated and is not going to kind of flaunt her, I guess, victory over Odelgard. I mean, your birthday's coming up too. So there's that. But anyway, we're going to age up Ginevra. She also got inquisitive, just like her sister. So these are some smart babies coming from El Rosaria. And we're all going to have some cake and do our best here to, you know, try not to let too much grief overwhelm us. So there's that. Thomas is also going to have a slice of cake. because except then he's going to go and throw up in the bush a million times because he's a vampire, and I think I gave him the weakness that he can't eat human food. So he's just going to go lay down upstairs. I mean, he does not feel good after eating that cake. So there's that, and then so nobody in this family knows that Thomas is a vampire now. He erased Elrosaria's memories earlier, so no one knows except for him. So we are doing the vampire family aspiration with him. That is something that's important. Um, I wanted to do the vampire aspirations. I think the only ones left are like good vampire and vampire family. I believe that's the case. If I'm wrong, I will look it up and or you can tell me. So yes, we're also going to age up Martine, and look, she aged up with her mother's original hairstyle. Can you believe that? So we're going to age her up, and then also Cassian the second is aging up. Thomas is trying to kill himself out in the sunlight. Go inside, my guy. Okay, so he's going to be back in his room that he shared with Odilgard, and her urn is here. We might eventually drop her off at the graveyard, but for right now, obviously, he's grieving, and he is not ready to move on anytime soon. I mean, you know him. That was the love of his life. So it's tough. So anyway, we are going to do some makeovers as per usual. We are going to start in our own household with Ginevra. She is going to get her new outfit. We're going to do Catalina Payne, Martine Landgrab, Cassian Heathcliff, and then, of course, Odilgard died. So something I just want to say as we get towards the end of this video is that I forgot that I have to travel for work this week. So I'm trying to get as many videos done in advance as I can, but some of them maybe might not have the roles live, or, you know, I'm just going to do the voice recordings whenever I can. But yeah, so I might miss a video or two. I'm really not sure yet. I'm doing my best to get them out, but we'll see what happens. So if you see that there isn't one for a couple of times, that's why. I might post in the community tab if that's the case, or maybe I'll get them all done, which is unlikely, but possible. So anyway, I just wanted to give you that information. And then also, yes, we have a little blue bow because the Smith family is blue. I think that that's so funny that that turned out that way. So I was like, let's keep it. So yes, we have Ginevra, who is definitely going to have an interesting life. We're going to have to see how it goes. Thomas obviously isn't going to, you know, take anything away from her, but we'll see what happens with her siblings, if anyone finds out, when they find out. You know, we don't know yet, right? We don't know. I mean, Odilgard would have been the person who would have said something, so we'll have to see how that goes. Here is beautiful Martine, just like her mother. I love her, and yeah, so I'm just going to wrap this up because I have a lot of trying to do Sims to do. But I hope that you guys are excited. In the next one, we will actually have Randolph's birthday, Frost's birthday, Catalina again. Oh, never mind. That was a spoiler. Anyway, if you figured out which one is a spoiler, let me know. And we'll see you in the next one for more vampire shenanigans.